Oh, it says it's starting now. Okay.
We good?
I think we good. I need others to confirm, but I think we're good.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we are good. We are live.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the first live event of 2019 in February, which most of you are saying, hey, what happened to the January one? Well, honestly, as most of you know, we have not had one in a while. We've been bad. There's no denying that. And that's kind of led us to look at our situation and, kind of get what we're calling, yes?
It's not that I mean, yes, we've been bad. That's absolutely true. But we also had some holiday family stuff on both sides of our families.
Well, of course. I mean, I'm giving it from an outside perspective, not the insider perspective.
Oh, I apologize. You guys didn't hear that.
Right. So, as to the why, which, as Crystal insinuated, yes, we had a very, very busy holiday season and not the normal stuff. We had some animal related big issues. Not Mango. Mango was fine. My father had surgery and all those sort of things. And so, anyway, the point is we have been unable to get here before now. We had a lot to go and do, but it is currently things have been done, completed, and we are more or less in a more normal state. We feel like and hope so that we're going to try to get back into the habit, so to speak, of doing live events. With that said, we're also trying to be more realistic about what we can achieve with our work schedules and our lives. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do quarterly live events that we actually keep up, and more importantly, that we actually do things and have something to share for. So, really, what's today's live event about? Today's live event is really to talk about the future of Q&B. Not to scare anybody. We're gonna go over that. But what is the future of Q&B? What is the future of the Q&B community? And all that good stuff. That's what it is today. So I'm going to talk a little bit, and then maybe Crystal will talk a little bit. We'll see. But I want to apologize to our patrons. You guys had literally just got this speech, but you're going to hear a lot of it again. And again, this is what's going to go out on YouTube and be available for the community as a whole. Yes, as Bazio said, Q&B dead confirmed. Okay, so what is the reality of our situation? And the reality of the situation is our lives have changed since we started in this community 5 years ago, 6,
4.5.
4.5. Okay. And both of our work situations have changed, our friend situations have changed. We just don't have the time to commit to all of the engagements we've made in the past. And that's okay. That's normal. That's how life goes. That's what happens when you get older. And that's what we've been reflecting on and saying, hey, how can we deliver on our promises, but also make realistic promises? And in that, we feel like we can do a quarterly live event and actually have something interesting to say and share and do instead of, just skipping the ones that we just don't want to do because we have nothing to say. So that's the first step. We are going to focus and let people know in advance when the quarterly live events are, actually do them and have a good time and have something to share at them. And what will we be sharing? Well, that's an excellent question, you might say. So, the general gist is we are getting back to basics, as Crystal keeps saying. And what that means is writing. Shockingly enough, in a writing community, writing and writing together. We both have a very big passion for our stories still, and there's a lot we want to do, but we've struggled to make time. I did good getting through Azure Days, getting through, that's a horrible thing to say, but I did good finishing it. And now that we've got secrets off our plate, we're really left with go forward items only. So, what does that mean for us? It means we want to produce one piece of Quill and Blade content a week, always. Now, not each, I mean total. So instead of 2 chapters each, we're going to a 1 chapter together. So currently, Azure Days is running and will continue to run for many more weeks. And we hope, and again, we can't promise, is we will shift and go to the second part of Beyond the Veil, and that will be the next thing that's running. And then while that's running, we'll be working on. I'll be working on a short story that introduces a new QMB character. Crystal will be working on finishing up Hopes, which we will then release those going. But the short is there will not be concurrent stories. There will only be the one thing at a time. And then that'll let us build up backlogs, let us keep content going. And we can talk about new things and what's happening. So that's one of our big changes, right, my dear?
Yes, I'd say that's the major big change to note.
Okay. So that is the major change. The positive side, though, it means there will probably be more Quill and Blade content than there was last year. I think that's fair to say.
God, I don't think it's really possible to do less content than last year.
That's fair. That is fair. And, generally speaking, whether this season is the last season of Friendship is Magic or not, will probably continue on until we don't have stories left to tell, or until, we're not interested, or until this community's gone. And from that perspective, that kind of focuses on my next thing. We want to focus more on this community. And by this community, I mean the Q and B community. And that is to specifically differentiate it from the greater fem fiction community, so to speak. Not to say that we aren't interested in that, but
We're
again,
not.
okay, we're not. Um, but more importantly, we only have so much time to give. We want to give that time to the people that know us, support us, are interested in our stuff, are part of our Discord community. Those are the people we're going to focus on. And, we already started that by going to the only on weekends are we opened for everyone. Only, do we keep our specific group, which we are going to get back into the habit of letting people join the community. But because again, we weren't in the situation where we could keep an eye on it. But really, we're going to focus on our folks and invest our time in you because again, you're the folks that support us, so we should invest our time in you. And that means when it comes to FEM, uh, we're pulling back. And I'm going to let Crystal go into that because I don't have anything left to pull back anyway because I haven't been, but she's the got what's left.
Well, I don't think it's much of a secret that I was involved in a lot of different aspects of the community, or at least trying to be. I'm not going to say I was successful, but it got into my head that people would tell me, "Hey, Crystal, your voice means something. You should use that for good, and you should do blog posts that have meaning, and you should be involved in these things, and people listen to you." And let's not say that I got egotistical. Let's just say that I started to believe that a little too strongly to my own detriment because then it stopped being oh, I should say things because people listen. It's, I need to be saying things because people listen. And then I started seeing it as an obligation. So I'm going to stop that. I've pretty much left. My screen is streaming, so you people will be able to see, oh, there's other servers. Those are different. Shut up. Get out of my life. Stop judging me. Um, but I got into a lot of community stuff, and I'm just gonna stop. It's at some ways I feel a little bit sad about that because I liked to believe that there was a community to involve in, and I'm not saying that there's not, but I think I've realized that that's not the where I need to be spending my time. And instead, I'm going to focus it on the things that matter most, and that's Ansel.
Yeah. And that's so again, this is back to when we were no names, no one knew us, no one cared about us, and that's kind of how we like it. So I have no vision that anything I can offer the film fiction community is of any value. We still believe in our message of positivity and supporting writers, but the truth of the matter is we've seen over the last few years, a lot of people don't care about that. They don't want to hear it. They want to come up with reasons to not worry about it. And and again, in some cases, to just be nasty. And you know what? That's fine. They can do that, but we're just not investing any time in it. So we can't fix the bad portions. We're not going to try. All we can do is be supportive and positive in our community to the folks that choose to come and join, and with each other. And again, writing for each other and with each other is what we love to do. And what really, at the end of the day, when it comes to all this, what interested people in us originally was the stories, the words. Yeah, maybe you found out that we aren't total tools and that you like us and you enjoy chatting with us. But really, what got everyone here was the writing. So we've been pretty lax on the writing. So what's the point, right? So we're going to be writing. That's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to present that to you. And we hope you enjoy it. And some of the stories you'll enjoy, and some you may not. And some, you may love and they become our new classics. And, it is what it is. But we're going to be writing. And that's the point. We're getting back into that. Now, on to a bit of sad news that I'm sure will upset some folks. And there's just nothing we can do about it. Um, as you all know, this year will be the last year of BronyCon, and we had every intention of going. We will not be going. We have other commitments right around that time frame. There's nothing we can really do to change that, and we will just not be able to go. And that is unfortunate, but it is the reality in which we find ourselves. So, again, we bring this up now. If you had made plans based on our attendance, please, I hope you have a time to, you know, arrange it. But yes, unfortunately, and again, we're going to try to make this really clear so everyone knows, because again, I know in the past we've done a lot of hosting there, we've set things up, we just can't be there. We've got we're just overstressed this year with what we do have to do, which includes, a surgery for Crystal, some things that I've got going on, some work stuff, some really important family trips we have to take. At the end of the day, we just can't do it. So that also means our panels will not be happening, and I am sorry for that. We might do a little something for fun, during a live event and do it online, but we will not be there. And again, I do apologize, but I do hope that people that go have a lot of fun. And that is that.
Eagle, it's okay. Anyone who isn't aware, it's okay. I'm having double jaw surgery for various medical reasons. Basically, just as my jaw is too narrow and at an angle, and that's why the times in the past that I've had braces, they weren't successful. So I'm having my last round of braces. I'm having jaw surgery, and it should relieve a lot of medical issues that I didn't actually realize were issues. But it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's like it's fine.
Yeah, but it's necessary, and uh, we're coming to the finale of that. It's been a full year process, and it'll be right near that time, probably right before. But then there is a substantial recovery time, and tooling off to it's just not a good idea. So that is the case, and we will let that be known. And feel free to tell anyone that you heard that in case someone's talking about going and whatnot. We don't want anybody to be surprised. It's just the nature of the beast. That isn't to say that we will never do another PonyCon. We might look for something in the southeast at some point and do a smaller one. You know, we'll see how that goes. But for the short term this year, it's just not going to happen. We will not be at any PonyCons this year.
Yeah, I'll do a royal proclamations for some of the highlights. I'll do a patron post for some of the other more patron oriented highlights. Yes. I will do my best to just throw things at all channels.
Yeah. Okay. So that covers, I believe, the portion of the meeting where we just dump a bunch of information. Let me give some positive stuff. As you all know, the Secrets 2.0 came out, and to be quite honest, I'm very, very proud of it and the work that we put in on that. It was a long time coming, but the actual output I think is excellent, and the feedback I'm hearing in PMs is very, very positive, which is good. Very good. The proof has arrived. It is in our hands, so I'm going to share a picture of it here in just a second. It is beautiful. It fits in with our aesthetic, and we're very pleased with it. So what does that mean for y'all? Well, It means, most importantly, that it's going to be available for you very soon. And we have two methods by which that is going to happen. Option A is what we call the fast, simple, cheap option. That's the I just want the book, I just want it now. You will be able to order it through Lulu directly. You can get it and you're good to go. You will not be signed or anything of that nature, but it will be sent to you in a timely fashion and done. Now, what is option B? Option B is that you will be able to buy one, I'm sorry, order one through the Quill and Blade website. Now, what that gets you is a couple of things. Number one is if you're a patron, you get your discount, which that's a kind of an important thing. Number two is we will sign it. And this could be any books. It doesn't have to be secrets. At this point, you can order any of the books because if we're going to do order for one, we can do order for all. So it's no big deal. So you can order any combination quantities of the books and we will personalize them for you as you like. And that's wholly up to you. In addition, there will be a few other things that you can purchase at that time. The card game we made, that sort of stuff. There's some knickknacks, whatever, that you can get through there. Which this will be a slightly more expensive and certainly a much slower method. So what will happen with this is once we get the invoices sent and paid, we will order all of the books at the same time. They will all come. We will work through them, as we can in our free time to personalize. Because again, if I'm going to personalize it, I'm not just going to get it, throw a signature on it, and just send it out lazy. Like that's not what personalization is. I'm going to get them, think about who's asking for it, take some time, and then send them. Same thing with Crystal. So that will be slower. Our goal is we'll at least every weekend send out, 4 or 5, and we may only get 4 or 5. In the past when these things were big, we were, doing 50, 60, 70, 100 books. For this one, the story's kind of old. We haven't been active. I'm guessing we maybe sell 20 books, and that's perfectly fine because a lot of people are just going to get them through Lulu anyway. So that is coming up. That will be available for you. After that, we're going to sit down and do a serious evaluation on whether we want to edit or write, and it's probably going to be write is going to be the focus at the current time because I know Crystal is gung ho to write, and so am I. I will do a second pass to trials, although it is not in the shape that Secrets was. It doesn't need as much work. The first half needs a good amount. The second half needs very little. And I know Crystal does eventually want to release the second half of Wishes, but again, that's not her focus right now. So there will probably be other books. I will probably finish mine regardless, just so that someone that wants to have all three can have all three. And then I may do a collected works of Sunny and Azurite at some point too. Just I'll put them all. That may end up just being one book, like they're kind of all together in some sort of like compendium. We'll see, but that'll be available. And that's kind of a fun thing, right? Other than that, Beyond the Veil is next on our agenda. That's the one that we're doing next, and that will be coming out no time soon.
Pretty much. I got good progress on it over NaNoWriMo, but so I will say regarding secrets. So although we didn't put out a lot of content last year, or very much at all, we did add about between 40 and 50,000 words to secrets, and a lot of that was both of us, right? Like I was doing a lot of scene transitions, Ansel was doing a lot of revisions of some of the things he'd done. So, you didn't see it, you didn't get to enjoy it, but we did actually do a lot of writing last year. So now we can take that writing that we were doing then and apply it toward Fail, which I think would be very much appreciated by everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say again, like when I redid memoirs, it was very little changing and it was mostly spelling grammar. When I did Secrets, because of how it went down the first time and how I kind of felt, and again, some of y'all know, some of you don't know, when I wrote Secrets the first time, I was in a massive depression. I didn't do what I would consider the best. And also the other thing is I was under the gun, right? That was when we were doing serials and I had to get 2 chapters out a week, good, bad, or otherwise. I had to in my head, right? We're well beyond that mental state now. So the the secrets you would read now is really good, y'all. I will be honest with you. Like I am not a rereader in general, and I'm not a rewatcher. Like I frequently will see a movie one time and that'll be the only time I'll see it in my life unless it's one of my like absolute super high favorites. And there's very, very few of those. And I've never reread a novel ever, literally never. Uh, but I'm really proud of what we did on this one and then the quality that came out. It's worth your time. I promise you that. It's absolutely worth your time. It's the revision is some of my better rewriting. And, if you liked the end of Trials when I was really hitting my stride as an author, it's that the whole Secrets is now that level, like the second half of Trials. So, like Crystal said, it wasn't a you see it obviously, but a lot of writing and work was done. And then, of course, like I said, Azure Days, we've got there's 30 chapters of that. So, you got a lot, if you're into that story, and if you're not, that's cool. But if you're into that story, you got 2/3 to go. And I can tell you, there's well, about half to go. There's some really cool stuff in that. Particularly on the more adventure side, Sunny. There's some cool stuff for Sunny. And more on the funny, but also deeper thinky repair side, there's some good Azu stuff. And then also, it's got some of my best comedy work. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with our output for 2018, considering what happened all that year, um, with surgeries and emergency room visits for my father and sudden trips to Georgia and in my company buying like 6 companies and me having to integrate them. So yeah, you know, no no hard feelings there on what I got done for myself anyway.
And for the second arc of Veil, I did get about half of it done as far as like my first draft that then passed to him. So it's starting off from a good place that hopefully we could turn it around in a relatively soonish time. I'm
Yeah,
hopeful. Also, I don't have secrets, which I was pretty much dedicating either all my time to editing and writing or all my time to trying to avoid for, I don't know, because I wanted to play video games. I'm a
yeah,
horrible person, okay guys? Let's just be real.
yeah. And the thing about Veil is it gets all of our attention, so we pass it back and forth, and that is a positive thing. And again, Veil is truly, truly, truly co-written, whereas all our other stuff is, it's like my stuff is probably 85-15 with me writing 85 and Crystal writing 15, and her stuff is 95-5. She writes 95% of it and I do about 5%. But Vale is we're very 50-50 on that. It's a true expression of both of us. And then of course we also did get the Christmas story done, which I was very pleased with the Christmas story.
I had so much fun with the Christmas story, y'all.
Yeah, we had a just a good idea for that, and I think it worked out well. And then of course that teaser at the end, y'all. How about that? That's a thing, but it's Beyond the Veils next. Um,
I will say
I'm
I'm kind of curious, like just in general, to know. So the two Christmas specials we've done, a dreamy, heartwarming, and a heartwarming dream. We did those alternating chapters where it was him a chapter, me a chapter, him a chapter, me a chapter. The first one was first person, third person, first person, third person, but this one we actually both did third person, which I actually thought he did a great job on third person. But I also have the history of knowing how much he struggles with that, so it was really cool to see him improving as a writer. But I'm kind of curious how people feel about the alternating chapter stories because maybe we'll do more of those. Because personally, I have a lot of just like little random ideas for kind of, 4 or 5 chapter stories that I've kind of fall by the wayside, but they may get more attention if we do that sort of alternating writing again. But I really don't know how people feel specifically about that. If was it jarring to go between the two? Were we able to mesh our styles? I'd be really curious to know that. This isn't exactly the forum for that, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there. That I'm curious how people feel about our two writing styles cohabitating side by side.
Yeah. And also with that, the reason why this year's story was third person on my side is not because I'm too worried about it's mostly because I'm trying to challenge myself. Because that's the other thing. One of the things I do with writing is that I enjoy. It's not just that, it's the pushing myself to the next thing. So the short story I'm working on and then the sequel trilogy that I will be working on will be third person. And, why is that? Okay. It's a very fair question. And the truth of the matter is as a artist, as I'm sorry, as an amateur writer, where I am in my life, it is difficult enough to give a true tone and voice to Silent Night, Azurite, and Sunny, right? That's three different internal personalities and tones that I have to give in first person. The sequel trilogy will feature three protagonists, and only one of them is Silent Night. And he's only one third of it. He's not the whole. He's not the focus. He's just a character in it, like in a novel you may read, like say a Dragonlance novel or a Star Wars novel, where it jumps from Luke to Han to Leia to Chewie, that sort of thing, and then when they're together, they're together. Trying to put three disparate, separate voices in like that, I just don't want to do that. And again, the story's not going to be Sunny, Azurite, and Silent. It's going to be Silent, uh, the new character, and then another potentially new character, uh, versus what I've done in the past. So I'm just going into that third person writing. Plus, I have a good helper. So
Wait, is it me? Am I the helper?
yes.
Yay!
Okay, so let's see here. Yes, that's actually Bazia, you're not wrong on that, to be honest. That's not Bazia's like the year is 2033, and they finally get to see the first draft of the third book of the new trilogy. That's the real kicker with this is, again, I don't know that I'd ever finish, but I'm also maybe overestimating how much content I have. We know what story we're trying to tell. It may not end up being three books. It may end up being more of a one or two thing. But I do want to probably get at least the first one done and see where that takes us. And because there's always been the what happens next, right? And that's why we left some hooks in there.
And I do actually, after Hopes, have the third and final story that I will eventually write someday. But I think I'm more excited about Veil than I am that story, especially because I don't have a clear direction for that one yet, and Veil has a very clear direction.
Yeah, we have Veil outlined to the end. Like that one's done. We know all the players, all the major happenings. We just have to. So that one's just about doing the work. The new trilogy, I've got the major doings and I've got a good amount of the minor doings. But that's the other thing is I'm going to literally sit down and do something that I didn't do, before, or couldn't do as much before because of the serial, and like plan it out, pick it out, and do it well, or at least give myself every advantage I can. So yeah. All right. Well, we'll stop there because that's enough. Just one-sided conversation. I know, right? Let's see here. Let's go to questions. Right? If you have questions, drop them in live events about anything. Let me scroll back.
There's not a good demarcation of
Yeah, it's just been
basically after Alex when it's Sparklebutt or Shatsa.
okay. So let me just kind of go through here and see. Oh, good lord. Yeah, this is going back for a ways, isn't it?
I think you're too far.
Okay.
1029. It's basically a full page for me.
Okay, we're going to 1029.
Yeah.
Well, Shaza's is 10 and 28.
What? His is 1029 2018 on my screen. Go back to October.
I am 1028 2018.
Well, on mine it's 1029, but whatever. Yes, that one.
What time zone are you in?
Ours. Does Bob actually make preserves? Bob is my sister, Marms, and although her OC pony makes preserves and marmalade and whatnot, the real Marms in real life does not. But she does make me smile.
Oh. Question for Crystal. Why did the comments get disabled in your secret golden story? One golden day. I was looking forward to posting comments that I'd written down and learned the comments weren't allowed. Also, I suppose the question has been asked, but is there a chance to follow up on what happened the next day between Forest and...
Below that question is a link to the blog post I did on why comments are disabled, so I will point people that way regarding why comments are disabled, but basically, the basic gist is they're unhealthy for my mental state, and not because of like the haters and negative comments, but it just wasn't. It just doesn't work for me. Comments don't work for me. It's just not a good place for me to be. But as far as a follow up on what happened the next day between Forest and Golden, I am not going to write that. Mostly because, and this is probably a weird thing to say as someone who writes romance stories, I hate writing dates and date like things. I don't know why, I just hate writing them. And it's basically the next day is they have a overall just date, a day date. Where they spend time with each other and have a couple missteps because they're both still awkward in their own ways, but they have a good day.
Huzzah. All right, let's see here. Bum. Let's see here. Okay, yes. Is part two of Crystal Wishes still in our future, or is it still unknown time?
Unknown time frame rise, it will happen eventually. That's just the thing, especially because like I feel weird having the first half of the story edited and then you drop into the less edited half. But I just that's not my it's not my focus right now. I want to write. I'm so tired of editing. I want to write.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh.
Okay. So we will, like I said, writing is the focus again. Let's see here. Will you host or wanted to play certain multiplayer games with your readers? I have seen the gamer chat before, but no one used it and it was removed. Considering THF, THF, TFH. What is that for stream?
Team
Um,
Fortress
oh,
Hellboys?
I don't know. We actually did used to play some games. We played Rocket League, and so yeah, the gaming channel used to be used when the community was larger, or rather when the Discord community was larger, and we would absolutely enjoy that and be interested in that. We have done it in the past, and we thought about doing that for fun. We did a live event one time where we played Monster Prom and let everybody kind of like a live stream of Monster Prom, which was pretty funny. Everybody laughed about that. And then we've talked about doing some other little games. The real reason why we haven't lately is time. That's all. It's we don't play a lot of video games at all anymore. In fact, to be honest with you, the games we play the most are mobile phone games because that's the only time we can fit in. So like we are literally those people. Um, I occasionally get Stellaris out and play Stellaris, and then we did play that together recently. And we've kind of been playing Grim Dawn, just the two of us lately, and that's kind of our couples game time. So, and that is to say, that is my polite way of saying no, we don't want to play that with you. That's what we're playing as a couple. But uh, doing that and doing that sort of thing when we're going to go to the quarterly live event and agree to do it and stick with it, and then having that sort of thing as a bonus for it, yeah, that sounds like fun, especially if it's something inexpensive that we can all do together. Next question is about Azubat. When's the next Azubat?
Yeah, but probably sooner than I think because I've gotten a lot of the rewriting done of the new code base. So new Azu's gonna be so shiny. However, you did skip questions, my love, but it's okay. I'll ask them.
Or did I? Were you?
Yeah, you did. Sparklebutt Shasa asks if you could have a real-life sit-down Q&A with one character from any of your stories, who would it be? What would you want to learn about/from them?
Hmm. Well, that is a tricky question because in some ways I feel like I would know. So I'd say it couldn't be one of my main characters. Although I think sitting down with Farrell prior to her change of powers would be really trippy. That would be fun. So I would say that I would want to sit down with Miley Hooves. I would want to sit down with Miley Hooves and find out, what she's been up to, what she's doing, and all that good stuff. How about you?
If I could pick one character, I think I'd want to talk to Velvet Step. I just feel like she would be so much fun to just talk to, right? Like we'd talk about some stuff. I'd have questions and she would definitely have the answers. She has done way more than I have. Wink wink.
I think I'd rather, as far as if I had to have one, I'd want to have over Silent Knight and Azurite just for the contrast of the biggest pony that in our universe and the smallest. Well, not the biggest main character pony in our universe and the smallest main character pony in our universe. Because again, I am fully in the belief that they're not even the size of Shetland ponies. They're smaller than that in real life. So like Azurite would basically just be a cat. I'm a big fan of that.
To go back in the lobby, people pointed out that TFH is them's fighting herds, that fighting game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like in
Okay. Well,
hindsight, that makes
yeah,
total sense.
that makes total sense. Well, that's certainly low impact. Eh?
Uh,
Next question, please.
is Crystal Wishes a genie? I'm gonna go with no.
Nope. She's
Nope.
just a mare
She's
who
just a
loves
mare.
love.
I have seen somewhere before where someone was like kind of upset that the Crystal's Wishes wasn't about a changeling. Like they were like, I don't remember exactly their words, but it was more or less that they were saying that it was like, this was so clearly set up to be a changeling, and I feel kind of like let down. I was like, how did she get a changeling out of
I was about to
this?
say, it was so definitely never remotely ever set up to be a changeling because, as several of y'all know, and I mean this politely, we hate changelings. Like, we loathe them because there's so many stories and so much fanon about changelings. Which, funny enough, we do have a changeling fanon for QMB with a really cool ass story that we work together on that we want to share eventually. But it's just not our priority. But that's another one that we want to co-write,
Oh yeah,
and
that'd be
it.
so cool.
I know it's a badass story. That's right.
Well, okay, okay, that might be overhyping it. We really like what we came up
We
with.
really like it, yes. And it has nothing to do with any of the fanon, and it absolutely has nothing to do with what they did with changelings later in the series. This was all done way prior to glow bugs.
So yeah, so y'all might not find it as cool as we do, but we really like what we came up with. Um, so then, in response to the genie question, our brony went, no, but she might be a princess. Crystal, are you a princess or a queen? As we all know, queens are evil, so I'm definitely a queen. Like, let's be real here, guys. I'm a queen.
I'm a queen too, but a different kind.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cherry asks, when it comes to software and stuff, where do the numbers come from that people do for releases?
Oh, actually, I can answer that. It's
She can.
typically semantic versioning is the term, and it's very rare that I actually know the official terms for things. So, like, oh my god, hashtag what? So it's semantic versioning, and it's major, minor, patch. And this isn't for every single versioning thing. This is just the one that I'm familiar with as the most common, especially in like software development. And so major updates typically like that will break something retroactively if people have forked off of it, whatever it is, or they've built upon it. A major release will cause it is not what is the term things are deprecated is not backwards compatible. Minor, I don't really 100% always know that like when something constitutes as a minor upgrade versus a patch. I think patches are like just supposed to be like really insignificant things, and uh, there's lots of documentation on semantic versioning, so I would recommend looking at that. But that's how people decide the numbers. I did a thing. I did an
Uh,
answer.
Other questions about software, buying houses, networking, uh, and other such things of that nature?
Baldur, you can just leave. You know that, right? He says he dozed off for a moment. Good, then do. Goodbye, sir. Oh, Cherry wants to know if we have any more stories about our HOA.
Oh, well, let's see. Nothing. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. So, okay. So our HOA raised their prices again this year, and they would refuse to clean my gutters, even though that's their responsibility. So I went ahead and just paid to have someone clean the gutters. So that was annoying. Um, they also did approve our new patio, which is good. We're going to have a new patio for Mango to play on soon. It should have already been done, but it's not.
Screened in
Uh,
patio for clarification.
yes, so that she can play safely outside. Mango loves outside. So basically we literally bought this bird a freaking screened in porch so that we can just throw her out back and she'll leave us alone. Um uh anyway, that's about it. Other than that, every HOA, so for my rentals, um yeah. Oh, an excellent question. Has your excitement for the show dwindled? I will say in my case, no. Like most of these later seasons and later episodes, I think are far better than the middling seasons. I actually super enjoy them a lot, and I loved the Christmas special. And like, I I thought the season finale for this season was entirely ridiculous, but that's okay. Like that, I wasn't feeling. Um,
I don't even remember what it was.
it was cuddle bug, squizzy cheesy girl foal master that
Oh
somehow took
god,
over.
yep, nope, I blacked that out, thanks.
Yep. So answer this question for yourself. How's the excitement for the show, Jen?
My excitement for the show has not dwindled. As with everything, there's episodes I like, there's episodes I don't like, there's things I like, there's things I don't like. But if they continued to put out episodes for Gen 4, I would still watch it. I still believe that there's lots of potential that's been unexplored, even if they're not going to explore them. I I have questions like about the feasibility of the whole school of friendship and the way it's set up, but I still actually enjoyed the kids. I thought they brought it. They brought interesting potential elements and plots and whatnot.
Yeah. And so, for my thing, I think people are, I think the leak, real or not, I think people are a little too jumpy on Gen 5 in general. Oh, yes, we definitely have some good show recommendations. Give us just a second. We'll do that. We have some really good ones. We've been watching some really cool stuff. So, you know, will they do that? Will they not do that? The question that you always have to ask yourself at the end of the day is the decision's only going to come down to one thing: money. That's it. Nothing else matters. It's just money. So why would they do a new gen? Well, if they do a new gen, then they can release a bunch of new ponies and sell a bunch of new toys, right? Um, but at the same time, they can keep just releasing different versions of the same toys, create new characters, and do that as well. We also, why else would they do it? Can they make episodes cheaper if they change the art style, that sort of thing? So, again, companies make changes all the time, and there may be a Gen 5, there may not be a Gen 5. There may be a Gen 5 immediately, there may not be one at all. They may just cancel ponies and move on. But I do know this. I believe it was last year or the year before. My Little Pony Friendship and Is Magic was like the number one kids toy and cartoon, period. So the thing is you have to ask yourself as an executive, right? And I look at how we do business with my company. Is it worth the risk? So, did that exist? Yes. But they've had a movie with the ponies that I thought was excellent, and I think they were rewarded for. They're still one of the hottest selling toys. Rocking the boat when something seems to be at its peak is difficult because, people say, well, the fandom's dying. Well, yeah, no, the core audience is still there. But then again, people make silly ass decisions all the time and cancel shows that were being successful. So you can't know. But as far as for me, any opinion on possible 5 gen, certainly it's always a possibility. The show's in 9 seasons. That's a long run for anything. But from my business acumen perspective, it's been a cash cow the last few years more than ever. So I don't know. What may also be interesting is a Gen 5 may be a show that's geared towards an older audience, not like adults, but like older girls, maybe, maybe not. And again, yes, everyone said, boys watch it too. The show is geared towards girls in a certain demographic. It is. I'm sorry. It's That's what it's for. It's great that we can all enjoy it, but that's the target demographic. Okay. Are there any shows you've gotten recently into that you would recommend? Yes, absolutely yes. So the number one is, I would say, that is a short watch and has already ended, is Hilda.
Oh,
Right?
yes, Hilda is so good.
Yes, Hilda is on Netflix.
Yes, it's on Netflix.
Hilda, 100% worth watching. I'd say we invested in it immediately. It wasn't one of those where you have to watch a few episodes to kind of get invested. I think we were pretty much in immediately, right? Or at least
Yeah.
within 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also one of those things where like you either know you're going to enjoy it or not. It's either your speed or not your speed. And it was completely our speed. It is so wholesome and interesting and cute and adorable. But also
So,
like relaxing.
yes. So we were totally in the bag for Hilda. Another really good one is, if you haven't watched the new Shira yet, you are cheating yourself. That one, I think we were like 3 seconds in and we were invested, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, did I love the new Shira.
Yes. I would say the new Shira would probably be. I certainly enjoyed this season of Shira more than I'm enjoying the current Steven Universe, and that says a lot. And I still like Steven Universe a lot, but no, I would say of everything cartoons we watched last year, for me, Shira by far the best all around.
Yeah, yeah, I would say Shira I felt the most like ecstatic about.
Yeah.
And laughed at it, enjoyed it, was thrilled, and it would go in certain, like there would be certain directions that it would take that I didn't expect, and loved that I didn't expect it to go that direction.
Yes, it's also not cliche. There are some cliche things, but it's not just recycled content that they just put a new skin on stuff just to sell toys. Um,
But so on Shira, I think the way I felt is that it's like watching an 80s cartoon how you remember it, not how it actually is. Because like a lot of times when you go back and
yes.
watch an 80s cartoon, you're like, oh god, this is like we went and watched the original 80s Shira, and I think we got 5 seconds in, and we're like, nope, not for us. So it's like it's
Yep.
got the nostalgia feel of an 80s cartoon with the modern everything else.
Yeah. So as far as not new, but also again recommendations if y'all have not watched on the cartoon front before we move into real shows. So Voltron, if you're not watching the new Voltron series, you're cheating yourself. It is exceptional. I will say though, the current season is tougher to watch than the previous season, in because what they've done is they've basically done the thing. Instead of starting a new arc, they're just upping the stakes repeatedly. That's the pro. And so the thing is in these kind of things, and again, they're professionals, they get paid. I'm an amateur, but as a show watcher, you can only up the stakes so many times before me as the audience. I'm like, okay, it's the Dragon Ball Z problem, right? It's the, okay, my power level's 1,000. I can beat this guy. Oh no, we beat him. Here's a bigger one. Oh, we beat him. Here's a bigger one. I just get tired of it. By the time they're Super Saiyan 4, butt to butt merge Super Beyond Saiyan to fight the Frieza 3.0 that had sex and merged with Cell and became a drag. I don't give a shit anymore. Just like, I don't care. Like, just I hope Goku dies and they lose the Dragon Balls. Um, okay. Also on the cartoon front, besides that, we just finished. Or okay, if you have not watched Troll Hunters is very good. The character Toby in it drives us nuts, but it is so good that even though Toby drives us nuts, it's worth watching. However, the second arc of that, called Three Below, which we just finished, is awesome because the Troll Hunters is part of a trilogy called Tales of Arcadia that focuses on three groups of protagonists. The first one being the Troll Hunters, focusing on Jim, Toby, and what's the girl's name?
Crap. I can't remember.
The girl. The second one focuses on Aja and Krell, and Varvatos Vex, who is the greatest character and is played by Nick Overman. Um, totally worth it. You can watch Three Below without watching Troll Hunters, but Troll Hunters as a series, I would say that one was good. The whole thing, it's just you got to get past Toby.
If you can get past Toby, It's really good. Like as far as plot and storyline and as it carries
And
forward
the quality of writing.
and the quality of writing, it's really good. I just like there would be times where Toby is one of those characters who has no growth whatsoever and is always just the useless bumbling idiot who screws things up and like isn't apologetic that he screwed it up. He's just like, "Oh, it wasn't my fault." And it's like, "Ah, I cannot stand it."
Yeah. And he's cliche. So that's another good one that we watched last year, and we just finished Three Below. And I want to say there was like one more cartoon that we dug, but it was really short. But I can't. Also just previous. If y'all have never found Beyond the Garden Wall and watched it, you should. It's amazing. Um, as far as new non-cartoons, which is a very small thing, if you're not watching The Rookie with Nathan Fillion, I think you're missing out. That's
Well, okay, see, you say those things, but you have to take into account A, that people have different preferences, and B, I struggle with The Rookie. Like, it's hard for me to watch because it doesn't pull punches as far as, cops get shot and criminals get shot and people get hurt. And so they may not be missing out, okay? Like, some people are very squeamish. I'm very squeamish. I probably wouldn't watch The Rookie on my own.
fair enough. Ansel Smackdown.
I'm just saying, like, that last episode we watched where I was basically just crying into the cushions, okay?
For the record of those that want to know how horrible it was, is a lady just gets stick with a hypodermic needle through her clothes, and then, that's a little
Thank
too
you
much.
for publicly dismissing the things that cause me actual physical pain through empathy.
You're welcome. It's what I do.
I'm so glad that I can feel like my feelings have value.
Anyway, did we watch anything else, babe, that you can think of?
So someone mentioned Carmen San Diego. I've been watching a little bit of that. I will say that the first two episodes of that are fantastic and 100% worth watching. After that, I'd still say it's totally worth watching. There is a small, it does the edutainment, okay? It goes back to its roots, and unfortunately, it does it in a very heavy handed, ham fisted way, but only for like a minute or two. It's
Yes.
like it's like the episode comes to a halt to be like, did you know that China produces da 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 and da 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 da, and that the mole rat is native to the underground of this place and it produces a vile toxin. And then the
Yeah.
episode continues. Like it just like stops for a moment to explain a whole bunch of here's some interesting facts about this region and things that may or may not pertain to this episode, and then continues.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. Like it's really weird. It's not organic. They just stop to give you a little class about where they're going, and then it goes on. So that's a little weird, but it is good. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, it's low stakes, and I like the art.
I love the animation. Yes, it's educational TV. That's why. Sorry, I termed it edutainment. But it only does that. It only does the educational ham-fistedness for just a few moments, and then it carries on with the episode. And there's some really interesting plot lines it's been getting into. Like this last episode that we watched, like that caught me off guard.
Although you do have to accept that it is definitely a cartoon in the sense that they do cartoon physics and certain things,
Well,
and
so
like
does Three Below. A cow dropped out of space and landed in a tree and just went meow.
true.
Like that's the thing with cartoons. They just do cartoon physics.
So I think that's it. I swear there's one more show, but obviously it wasn't good enough for us to remember.
There was another question, or a new question, if you're ready to move from that.
I am.
How have we stayed super married for so long? And the reason is, although I feel like my feelings don't have value, I know they actually do.
She's got a great ass.
My feelings.
No, so truthfully, all things aside, the keys to a good relationship, number one is, and people say this all the time, and everyone just blows past it if it's not true, is communication. If you keep and hide things from each other and can't talk things out, you're not going to last. It's just going to fester. So one of the things that I do, and that annoys Kristen, is when it's clear she's something's bubbling up in her, I make her talk about it, and we've been doing that for years, and it really drives her nuts. But it is helpful, yes.
Yes, it's helpful.
Okay.
I
So that
was, I mean, our relationship is a little hindered by I was raised in an environment where we don't talk about our feelings because those feelings don't have value, and you just go to your corner and you just stop having those feelings. So I struggle a lot, and Ansel is correct that really the only way that we work is we communicate. We talk about things. And there are times where one of us will get frustrated and the other one will just continue to force us to talk about it until we work through it, and then we get to the other side and we're like, wow, why was that such a big deal? Like, that wasn't really a big deal. We just we just needed to talk about it, and now it's over and it's fine, and we continue carrying on.
Yeah. And let me give a more simple, like easier anecdote. It's it's like this. When I'm preparing something, and let's say it's just celery and peanut butter, and no one's there to see it, just me. And some of the celery is bruised and kind of brown and crappy looking, and I'm making two plates, one for me and one for her, and there's no one there to see it. I take all the brown and crappy one, and then I give her the best one. And I don't do it for, she'll never know. No one will ever know. That's what it takes.
Aw,
You
no
have
one
to
will ever know
basically,
that I do the same thing when I'm preparing the food. I didn't know you did it too.
yeah, I do.
Aw.
And that's the thing. So if you find yourself taking the best parts for yourself, I mean, you need to evaluate what you're doing here. The other thing is compromise is huge. So you have to compromise. That's a big thing. The truth of the matter is we almost never fight, but we do disagree a reasonably decent amount of time on stuff. Or or either, and even and when I say disagree, I don't mean like fully polar opposites, but like she says 10, I say 12, instead of she says 10, I say negative to it. And you have to be able to work through that instead of just huffing and walking off. And we're very, very good at finding middle grounds. And then, of course, typically when one of us stonewalls because of that, it's because it matters. So,
Yes, that's generally a really good indicator for us is when something really matters, or there's something usually like I'll be honest, usually it's me. If I'm stonewalling, it's because there is a deeper, sometimes unrelated issue, and I will have to communicate to him. I'll have to get past that little stonewall feeling of just like I'm receding into myself and just being angry or upset or just digging my heels in, and have to say, it's not about this, it's about this. And then we talk about that, and then we can go back to the other thing and be like, okay, well, now I'm not upset about the other thing, and I can be okay. Like, it just, again, it's being honest with each other, open listening, and also being honest with yourself on some level. Like there is an onus on me when I'm upset about something that's unrelated to what I'm outwardly upset about, digging that up and voicing it so that we can actually address the real problem instead of making this other problem into a problem when it's not actually a problem. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah. But that's, again, that's communication. That's a big thing. And then the other thing is, when I don't know how to articulate this. It's not just when I say compromise, I don't mean like compromise. It's you've got to be, there's just a certain level of, you have to be a unit, right? So there is a time and a place to be individuals, right? And you should keep your individuality, but there's a time and a place to be a unit. And the thing is a unit has to work in parallel. So for instance, if I was constantly telling her what to do, what we're going to do, what not, that wouldn't be a unit. That would be, something different. So that's how, I mean, those are the things. And again, you've got to find the right person. But the other stuff is the other thing you got to understand is none of this stuff starts this way. You have to work You have to work like anything in life. You have to work to get to where we are. And the thing is I pretty much view it, the longer we've been together, the stronger our relationship's gotten. And you know what I always laugh about is, there's two lies that we were told, very, very big lies, that I found were lies. The first big lie was the second you get married, everything changes and everything will be different. So that was the biggest piece of shit advice I ever got for marriage, because it's not true. And it makes you scared and you're like, oh shit, everything's going to change. What's going on? What's going on? What's going to happen? Nothing remotely has changed since before we were married to after we were married. Nothing at all.
At least
I
nothing attributed to marriage. I
no,
mean, there
no,
have
no,
been
no.
changes, just nothing
Of
like
course.
marriage didn't change
But
anything.
yeah, the relationship should be the same before or after. And basically, and I mean this, if you're with a partner, doesn't matter what gender, if they're just trying to get you into that marriage and then they change, then they got to go. Like, if they're one way before the marriage and then they're a different way after the marriage, then you need to have some serious communication about how that's unacceptable and they got to go, because that means they weren't sharing their true self with you. They were just hiding it. Don't rush into marriage, and have sex before you get married for sure. You need to know that that works out. Definitely premarital sex. Definitely premarital live together. Definitely spend as much time together to get to know each other uh, first.
Well, that
And
took a turn.
so that was the first lie we were told. The second lie we were told was, um, oh, I absolutely recommend premarital sex. A positive and healthy sex life is critical to a successful marriage. It is. I'm sorry. I do not care about asexuals. You do your own thing. I don't know anything about you, but you know, if two asexuals want to get married, then basically your sex life is fine. You don't have sex. Good for you. But if it's an asexual and a sexual, then I'm not getting into that. Anyway, anyway, the second lie we were told is that the honeymoon phase wears off after about 2 years, and then it's just this drudgery in marriage. And I think the people telling us that just don't have good marriages. I'm sorry, it's just what it is, or they settled or something. We still have a hell of a lot of fun. We still do the same stuff we did, before we were married, and more now that we can because of our careers and the success. And being fun and having fun is important. So the only thing I would say for that and how you keep that interesting is you got to work at the marriage. If either of you starts taking the other one for granted, the taking for granted person is a dick. Um, you need to date your spouse for your whole life, or at least until you have kids, and then the two of you no longer matter, and the only thing that matters is the child, which is, there. So, anyway, that's my soapbox. Kristen, take over. What's your opinion?
My opinion is that was a little heavy handed and strong for some people in the audience.
I truly do not care.
I can tell. I don't really know how I'm supposed to follow that up. You should do what makes you happy, but when it comes to a relationship, it's not just about what makes you happy anymore. I guess is an important takeaway from that. But uh, sorry, I'm kind of reeling from the strongness of language. As far as my opinions about a happy, healthy relationship and or marriage, it's important to take time when you are feeling there's ups and downs in life, in work, in career, in friendships, in relationships. When you are on an up, when things are good, take that moment to sit with your partner, hug them, love on them, hold hands, and say, and like look them in the eyes and say, like, our life is good right now. This, tomorrow may be different, next week may be different, but right now I love our life and I love what we have. Because it's really always important to take those moments and really truly appreciate them fully.
And one other thing, and this is not put it anyone, like insinuating and not being clear about what your needs and wants are and just hoping your partner figures it out, that makes you a dick. you need to be clear and upfront because everyone is busy, everyone has stuff, and it's fine to hint a little bit. But if you're playing the game of, oh, I'll see if he or she notices, no. You know, Crystal's good about it. Sometimes she'll say, I need you to be sweet right now, or I need a hug right now, or I'll say, I really just need to cuddle right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Articulate your needs. Don't expect someone to read your mind. That makes you a dick.
So yeah, any other questions, guys? Does anyone need any aftercare? Is everyone okay? Oh, question is asked. Are you going to make a new series called Ansel Says?
Well, one of the more important, or rather popular parts of our first BronyCon panel was when I was talking about how to buy a house. So all right, here's something fun, just in general. I think we could do a segment of Ansel Says that's uncensored. Um, I am an adult, and I don't know what to say other than that, right? Like I was raised, and this is not knocking anybody. I want to make this clear. This is not deprecating down. I was raised in a certain fashion. I'm older than, most of the people in this community. I was raised premillennial in the a man's got to be a man, and I was raised in the South, right? So, sexism, racism, all that stuff, all that good stuff was part of my childhood, and it took me going to college and getting out to realize that that stuff's bullshit, right? So, but still, the point is there is a part of me that no matter what has expectations of me and only on me and what being a man means. Because again, there is that. So anyway, what I got into, what I'm saying when I say I'm an adult means is I was trained to handle all of men responsibilities. And again, I use the term men in quotes because again, you got to look at the perspective of who was training me, not the reality of it. Women can do this too. It doesn't matter. But anyway, taking care of your house, buying a car, negotiating for a car, doing this, doing that, doing that. I have a lot of advice to give, a lot of career advice. And what's funny though is I get asked a lot, and a lot of times my advice gets disregarded. Like, well, I don't like that or I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you're asked for it. Don't then just say, no, I don't care. Fine, that's your choice. The polite thing to do is say, thank you for the advice, and then later say, no, I don't care. But I do like these segments because, again, I'm not 40 years old and I've been very successful and I don't come from a rich family. I come from a poor family in the South. So, Ansel's Advice Corner: how to buy a house, how to have a good marriage, how to negotiate for a car, how to save money and retire early, how to sign up for, your employee benefits, how to get a job, how to interview, how to do your taxes. I'm here for you, Papa Ansel.
I have no advice other than find yourself a man or a woman who does have all that experience. Because if you like me, I don't got none. Like, literally, what, 3 months? My car tags were 3 months expired, and Anzo pointed this out, and I looked at him and I was like, "What are car tags?" Like, I have no life experience. I would be dead in a ditch without this man. So yeah, get you a man or woman who can take care of you if you ain't able to take care of yourself.
It's, I wish she wasn't kidding, but my favorite story is we were just married, or we weren't married yet. We were living together in sin, which again I highly recommend. Um, we were living together in sin, and I got home from work and I walked by her car, and her tag was expired by like 3 months. And I went and I said, "Baby, your car tag's expired." And she looks at me with these big doe eyes and goes, "What's a car tag?" So
Babe,
yeah.
that's the story I just told.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was in my own head.
I love you.
Sorry. I can't read what people are saying and say things. Oh no, that's not her Southern accent. That's her Jenna Marbles accent.
Yeah, that's
Crystal has a pretend to be Jenna Marbles accent, which is very, very good. Actually, she does a very, very good impression slash pretend.
it happens when I watch, which by the way we have a Jenna Marbles to catch up on. When I watch Jenna Marbles, I have a habit of slipping into the cadence with which she speaks. I don't know, I don't do it consciously. It just happens. Octavia, the story has been told twice now. I told it, and then he told it. If you missed it, it's your problem.
Watch the recording. Okay. I think at this point, if I have not offended at least most people, uh, I'm doing something wrong. Well, I'm just tired of
You're
the
hurting our
internet.
brand.
Oh, our brand is in the shitter. Who cares? uh, no. Anyway, you folks are wonderful. I do hope you know that. And again, the whole point of this presentation prior to that question was we're just going to be focusing on y'all and our writing and each other this year. And anything over and beyond that, to hell with it. So again, I hope you had fun today. We will do this again in January, February, March, April. We will be doing this again in April. Um, we'll have to get it on the calendar. We'll let everybody know in advance. Uh, and that will be when we'll do the next one. So we'll take questions. We'll have this out. Feel free to tell your friends about how I insulted all sorts of people on our live stream.
We may
And
play a game with y'all.
we may play a game with you.
We
But
may not, because some of you suck.
also true. So have a good day. Have a good weekend. Godspeed.
Oh, wow, he just left. Okay.